Welcome to this channel. The channel is for education and culture based on historical and scientific evidence. Today, I'd like to share with you a scientific standard for practicing the Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao sets, the first set of Wing Chun. So here on, those who is serious and hardworking like to develop the Kung Fu of the Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao, be able to develop it in a solid and high quality manner. Now, this is the standard, which I call United States of America Xiu Lim Tao Scientific Standard, or in short form, US3. US3 is mapping the 1850s Xiu Lim Tao teaching of the ancient Wing Chun ancestor into today's sports science specifically, so that everybody know what is what needs to be developed. One can measure it, monitor it. One know, has one developed the Kung Fu and one's limitations. Now, why am I doing this? The first thing, the other day in my previous videos, I shared that beginners in Wing Chun are like a piece of plain paper. They are good beginners. Most of people are good when they want to study Wing Chun. And because they are good, there should be a solid education for them. Wing Chun is not a cult. Wing Chun is not about selling snake oil. Wing Chun is one need to educate and care for the beginner, so they get the benefit and they will be talented beginner. They can further fly the Wing Chun system. So that's number one. Number two, Wing Chun Xiu Lim Tao is the core, the base, the platform of Wing Chun. If one don't develop this properly in a solid manner and high quality manner, one practically don't develop anything. For past 130 years, you look around, it doesn't even cover the topic of breathing. Where in the ancient, be it the 1850s writing or Shaolin writing, it is the truth that without the breathing part developed, whatever magical techniques is useless. So an analogy is, if one wants to go race car, one need to build this car instead of sitting around in the couch and talking about how I'm going to drive this car, this technique, that technique. You don't have car to drive. So how is there is a training of racing car. This is a scientific era. We like it or not. You want to race, you need a car. You need to build the engine. You need to build the transmission system, the wheel, everything. Before you talk about, I want to drive this car this way or that way. There's nothing wrong with talking about driving this car this way or that way. But you first need to have a car. Without a car, what are you talking about? And what type of car do you have? A Ferrari or a make-believe toy car? So that is very important. There's a reason I want to set this standard. Because in today's world, nobody is going to give you face. People look for where is the beef. So this is the reason. And the third reason I want to share with you. We have Wing Chuners around the world who running school, who are sifus. Again, you can see that most people who have school are good people. They want to have a successful school. They want to train successful students, unless that guy is a scam artist. But most people is not. Most people want to do good. So what I provide here, that is no royalty you need to give me. That is nothing. My goal is just that you take whatever I share with you, go study it, go teach your student, go grow your school as much as you can based on solid hard work. And that's where the respect and everything will come. You make more money, great, because you teach good students. And I don't want 1 cent of your money. Why? We all are Wing Chuners. What is the point to screw everybody each around and then sitting down there, bad-mouthing here and there, and you see the entire Wing Chun drop and the young beginner drop, and then Wing Chun school closed down. And then get laughed at other people. Oh, you practice Wing Chun? Look into YouTube. So this is the 3 reasons. You have a question, you can ask me. This is open to everybody. It's not about money. It's about the doing thing properly for everybody. Now, for sure, there will be somebody say, well, Hendrik, you just want to push your Yikam lineage. That's for sure. For past 130 years, you look at all those things. Between lineage, fighting there, cat fight, within even the same teacher, same lineage, cat fight, all this politics. And of course, people were going to have this kind of mindset. But let me tell you, even if Wing Chun or the person who designed that 1850 Xiu Lim Tao or General Qi Ji Guang is here, I'm going to tell them the same thing and they will agree with me, 100%. I'm going to tell him that read this. This is called scientific standard. It is not Hendrik standard or Yikam standard or whoever standard. It's called scientific standard. So even Qi Ji Guang today is here. If he's doing Wing Chun, he has to he's subject to this standard. he has to accord to this standard. Even when Wing Chun is here, anybody in the red boat is here, they are all subject to the standard. No exception. Don't tell me you are a grandmaster, you are a creator, you are have 25 years of experience in Wing Chun, or I don't care, you even have a 1,000 years of experience. So this is like what? Like in the Silicon Valley design review. It doesn't matter you are a founder, you are a CEO, CTO, or who the hell you are. You put your title outside the room. This is talking technology. Because if your technology screwed, your company belly up. So I can guarantee you, Qi Guang will agree with me. The person who designed this 1850 Xiu Lim Tao sets, or the monk in the Shaolin will agree with me. Because it is about educations. It is about the continue on of Wing Chun, so that Wing Chun have hope for tomorrow, have a future. So, you read his story, Qi Guang or the Shaolin monk, they all like that because they are the people who want a better future. If not, why the hell is this Wing Chun ancestor in the red boat? The real ancestor, okay, not the wannabe, fight in the red boat 1854 for the people and sacrifice. So there is no title, no nothing. It is standard. You have to follow the standard. I have to follow the standard. Everybody follow the standard. Everybody is equal. Okay. So as in the teaching of Buddha, I said, follow the Dharma, not follow the people. You don't want to pull your title with me, because what you're against is scientific standard. And we know that in past 130 years, nobody can face this. Why? Because this is already mapped into today's sports science. And this is the thing which is, if you want to compete with other sport martial art or martial art of today's, you need to face it square. Or else, if you don't have this training, you can't face them. So again, your Xiu Lim Tao, what are you doing? And with the standard, within 3 months, you need to develop something based on your situations, your limitations, and your capability. So let's get into this standard, okay? Now, the first thing I call USA is because it is the 1850s contents of Xiu Lim Tao practice. But we are using the USA scientific technology. So credit has to go to USA. This is no longer Chinese stuff. This is a mix of ancient Chinese Wing Chun with today's USA sports science. Okay? Now, so there's a standard called Xiu Lim Tao Scientific Standard, or short form US3. So if you are a Wing Chun student, ask your instructor on this US3 standard. Tell them, I want to develop with the US3 standard. And as a Sifu, care for your student. use the US3 standard, you will have a really solid 手领套 training. Your class will be very successful. Now, in the ancient, we all know that externally, it is said training the muscle, bone, joint handling. That's external training. External training is muscle, bone, joint handling. Internal training is breathing handling. Without the breathing handling, this is drop dead. It's like a car. You can put your chassis there, but you don't have the engine. That is the bottom line of Shaolin teaching. And also, please stay away from this Tai Chi, that Qi. This is the bottom line, okay? Now, for the external training, muscle, bone, joint handling, it never is those holding your structure, because fighting or health training is dynamic. That's according to the ancient Chinese, okay? So, one need to be able dynamically, properly handling all those joints. Not holding some kind of stance or structure. A car or a helicopter is not a water tower. You are building like a helicopter, not building a water tower. For past 130 years, that's building water tower. That's why when you face Xi Xiaodong, you stare apart. You want to have a dynamic training of all the 7 bowls, okay, of handling. Otherwise, you cannot handle it. So there's no triangle shape here, there, and there. That's building water tower. And that is a test. If you really be able to handle this, it is called the vertical jump test. Well, vertical jump test is a common test for the athlete. Or it is called a leg recovery test. You can actually get the polar vantage tool, as I share in other video, to do the test, to see how you can vertical jump, and you track your data every time and see whether your vertical jump handling is improving or your recovery from, say, workout and so forth. So the vertical jump is a very good test. Why? Because it forces one to launch the entire body. You want to fight Xi Xiaodong, you look at Xi Xiaodong launch, charge in. You need your entire body to launch out, not standing there punching. Launch out. And also, the ancient is called that shoot in. If you do not have all this handling, you cannot shoot in. Okay? But then it is not just talk. How good can you handle your body? Test it with the vertical jump test. Are you scattering around? You just jump and you cannot get down and the everything fall apart? Or you'll be able to bounce. You can shoot, bounce like the basketball player, the volleyball player. That's what you need. So it's a very simple, common, well-proven test, vertical test, to test your entire body handling of your 手领套 training. Your 手领套 training for the external part better be able to handle the muscle, bone, joints. And that means you better be able to do the vertical jump test. Not falling apart, scattering around, and can do it. And of course, different people will have different value. Like a 18-year-old be able to jump so very high and be able to land really well. 60 years old like me probably will only be able to jump 1/4 of it, and I can land safely because I'm 60-something year old. So it's not necessary that I have to jump the same with the 18-year-old, but at least that with that, I know how to handle my body properly. Or even jump 1 inch. How about that? If I'm really weak, I'm really sick, I have all kinds of problems with my body, I'd be able to jump 1 inch. That means I can handle my body within that 1 inch of change. And then that kind of training can help me if I slip. I can handle my body, not even talk about fighting people. When we are old, we want to train the 小念頭 sets for our help, for helping us in the daily living. So that 1 inch, you know, oh, this is my limitation. Oh, when I land, I have to do this and so forth. So that is the external training that need to have to handle the muscle, bone, and your joints. Okay, not just the hand techniques. What is hand techniques or standing in the structure got to do with this? Dynamic. Can standing in the structure even prevent you to get injured when you slip at the old age? Or be able to handle yourself, balance yourself back when you're old age? Can you stand in your clamping knee, be able to do that? Of course not. Because clamping knee is known that you're going to damage your knee cap, your knee joints. It's scientific. So you see, this is how loosens, and you know, all this is in my book or in this video. If you don't want to buy my book, it doesn't matter. Just go check into this channel. It has thousands of videos, including telling you about the fit bowls and everything. Okay. And in fact, I don't want you to buy my book. If you can get the information from the channel for free. Only if you cannot, or only if you want details, then you get the book. Okay. That's from education. Now, so externally, your muscle, bones, and joints, you need to be able to do the jump test, vertical jump test to test, do you really have a handling of your body, of all this joint? It's very simple. And of course, there are many more tests, advanced tests, but we don't want to talk about that. We just want to talk about minimum. So everybody be able to do it, be able to check it scientifically. In this case, you can check it scientifically. Okay? Now, that is not going to help you to get your cardio and everything to support your fighting or your health. And that is where the internal training is, where the internal thing come into the picture. All the ancestors, the ancients say that if you don't have breathing, all your techniques is useless. It is just a dance or mimic posture. So in terms of breathing training of 小念頭, there are 5 components there. There are 5 components there for the entire thing in the 1850, and which is a must. Because now this is already mapped in today's sports science. The Western science today know more internal than today's so-called internal advertisement in Chinese Kung Fu. Face it, because all of this is quantized. Same do this one, the vertical jump, because it is measurable, meaning it's quantized. Do you have it or you don't have it? Can you handle it? Is there? So anybody, for example, in a practice Yulim Tao, the first thing for the external training, you know, stand in your E.G. Kamyangma, you try it. After you feel that you got the E.G. Kamyangma, you do a vertical jump, a light vertical jump. See how you jump up and land down. Is that effortless? Is your body in balance? Can you land properly, stable? All kinds of stuff come up. You just do a jump. If you have a knee clamping in, then you know that you just move a little bit, like try to jump. Now, of course, at first, when you try to jump, you want to using the minimum effort so that you don't screw yourself, don't injure yourself. You try it, taste it, and see you can go this far, gradually adding up. Now, whatever it is not right for the body, externally for the joints and the muscle, you know right away. And that's where you want to work to make correction, to train. If it's weak, or it is an improper handling of the body, they are different things. Weak, you can strengthen it. Improper, you need to change it. So that's why I say just a simple vertical change test. Now, as for here, in the breathing, the first is the aerobic-based training. I'll share with you more. The first is, if you train in Xiu Lim Tao, your Xiu Lim Tao has to contribute to help you to improve your aerobic-based training. Okay. The second is heart rate variability, meaning you'll be able to handle your heart rate. You'll be able to relax or recover. You'll be able to handle your heart rate. You know your heart rate. The third thing is core stability. Okay, because core stability is linked with the intra-abdominal pressure, and intra-abdominal pressure is related to your handling of your breathing. And if you don't have the core stability, you know you have a trouble in handling your body forward, backward, upward, downward, especially when you go dash in forward. The fourth is the Vo2 Max. Vo2 Max is like the size of the engine of your car. The size of the engine of your car. You need to know, is that a 6-cylinder car, or is it an 8-cylinder car, or is it a 2-cylinder car? So Vo2 Max can analogy as the size of the engine, and your Xiu Lim Tao training better contribute to develop the Vo2 Max, or to improve it, or to maintain it. The same thing is your Xiu Lim Tao training is better be able to help you have a core stability, better help you to be able to handle the heart rate variability, better help you to be able to handle the aerobic base, so that it's aerobic base, so that you don't get into aerobic deficiency syndrome. where your heart rate goes skyrocket just moving 2 steps in the sparring or in walking. 小念頭 breathing training has to contribute to so that you have a really good aerobic range of heart rate, meaning you have a really solid aerobic base, aerobic training base. And you can, of course, go accelerate out to the anaerobic, to high intensity exercise, but you can come down to the aerobic when you recover, instead of have no aerobic base and right away you get to the high heart rate anaerobic and so forth, and just next 30 seconds you just exhaust like crazy. Your body is just completely trash. So you need the aerobic base. And aerobic base is linked to your deep lower abs breathing, linked with your heart rate. Okay. Now, the 5th one is anaerobic threshold. Anaerobic threshold can be analogy to as the fuel efficiency of your car. Okay. So Vo2 Max is the size of the engine. This is the fuel efficiency of your car. Now, if you go to any real well-trained athlete today, they have all of this. Okay? They have all of this. And this thing exists in 1850s, 小念頭. So now we quantify it. We know what it is. We know, do we develop that or not? We can measure it. Now, one thing is over here, I mentioned that if I'm 60 years old, or I'm sick, or I'm weak, I want to train my 小念頭 for head only. So instead of, when I'm testing it, I jumping for 1 inch instead of I'm jumping 2 feet like the 18-year-old. Over here, for the 60 years old, for health of the body, you can train aerobic base. It is really safe because they are low intensity training. Heart rate variability, that's really safe because that's for recovery. Core stability, that's really safe. It doesn't need to have a high intensity. Now, Vo2 Max, because you want to check out what is the size of the engine, there are different ways. You can just do the Vo2 Max like a walking, which is even we have a weaker body, we can do it. Or you can do the Vo2 Max there, you go zap to the maximum and see how far you can go, which is good only if you are fit. So how is this related to the 小念頭? Well, for us, the older one, the weaker one, when we pray 小念頭, we can do it slowly. Okay? So it's like from aerobic base, heart rate variability, core stability, down to the mild type of the Vo2 Max. For the one who is fit and fluent with the 小念頭, they can do it like a HIIT, high intensity interval training. For example, I can do the section of this really high intensity. At every instance, I exert force and move my momentum. And then, because every 小念頭, after they do the left side, you pull back, you rest for a while, and then you do the right side. That is HIIT, high intensity interval training. But that's only for those who already flown, already developed this mile, and have the body to do it. Well, anaerobic threshold is going with the Vo2 Max, which is high intensity. So for those who want to go compete, who is young, who is really fit, who want to have the fitness, they need to train this 5. For those who is weak and want for the body, or just recovery, even if you are very fit after the competition or anything, or you got an injury or anything, you want for recovery, you just do this first 3. Okay? So this is when the ancient talk about breathing training, it is this. Okay? So to repeat it, your 手领头 should be able to help you to develop the aerobic base, heart rate variability handling, core stability or intra-abdominal pressure, VO2 max, and aerobic threshold. Your 手领头 must be able to do that. However, you might choose not to do it because of your body condition, or if you are Sifu, you do not want the weaker people or the older people to do that, because if you do this, you might damage your body, to cause your body injury. And all of this, you can read in the website, what are they? So it is all scientific, quantizable. Now, so the first thing is aerobic base. Aerobic base, you need to have a lower abs breathing, a proper lower abs breathing. And this is with a proper physical training, then you can have a proper lower abs breathing. And thus, with that, you'll be able to have a good aerobic base training here. Like this training for 35 minutes, you use really low heart rate, and you can handle your breathing rate. You see the breathing 5, 15. So that is for the aerobic base part. And then, if you are fluent with this, you'll be able to handle this. You can train something as what I mentioned before is the N1. Get you into the deep rest to nurture qi. That is where you can raise your heart rate variability. So it's between here and here, you train that, and like the N1, and you raise your heart rate variability. And of course, I have to use myself as a guinea pig to do all this thing. Otherwise, I won't have the data. So now it is not only me. Everybody can do it, okay? Because it's scientific stuff. So again, for the low abs breathing and the for the aerobic base, heart rate variability, after you get that, it also comes with the core stability or intra-abdominal pressure, because if you can do this, then you can train in the aerobic base, meaning low heart rate, aerobic range heart rate, low aerobic range heart rate, be able to handle your breathing, your heart rate variability, if you go even deeper. And with this, you can get into where your breathing is 360 degrees, and the amplitude of your breathing is really high, and of course because of your breathing, amplitude of breathing is high, that is linked to your intra-abdominal pressure and linked to your core stability. So you can measure it, right? High. So you can measure that, your core stability and your breathing and so forth. Now, as soon as I do it wrong, you see that it only remain about 1/3 of the entire amplitude. You know that if your shooting tao practice that way, it is improper in your breathing. So if you look at this again, I want to show you again, you look at how I change my leg to the clamp inside. Okay, inner clamping like usual people, the triangle shape. Now you see how the entire thing reduced. Just look at it. This is a proper training. You see? Right away, he changed to that. Now, the opponent you're going to face, because this is all science, sports science, will have those type of training. You like it or not, it is this type of era. Now, as I mentioned, your core stability, you have the muscle and you have the intra-abdominal pressure that form the core stability outside in with the muscle and inside out. Your Xiulian Tao has to be able to develop that. Okay, now. So this is the mild Vo2 Max Test. You don't have to get your heart rate high. You're just raising your heart rate and mildly, and you will get your Vo2 Max. Then you know what it is, and see after you practice your Xiulian Tao set, and you can see that does it improve? If you practice it properly with the lower ab breathing and so forth, gradually going to the HIIT, HIIT, high intensity interval training, it has to go up. Okay. Now, this is what you don't want to do for the weaker persons or untrained person or older age, where you have conditions, or diabetic or heart problem or high blood pressure. You don't want to do. This is the thing is like, this is the maximum heart rate. You see, there's 100% of heart rate. In this Vo2 Max testing, it is going beyond that. Okay. Well, this is a way of testing your Vo2 Max, and actually in a really stressful way, high intensity way. You see how you can raise it and how rapid you can recover it. Okay, so this is going up to 177, the heart rate, where this is a calculate 169 is the maximum heart rate calculate. Let's go to 177. Okay. And as you can see here, the Vo2 Max 11 minutes. This is at high intensity 11 minutes, anaerobic 7 minutes. When you're sparring, you expect to go to anaerobic. Well, anaerobic, you know, you can read about in the web. Anaerobic meaning that without oxygen, meaning it's a high stressful time. Usually in sparring, how many minutes you get into the anaerobic? Say you say I spar for 1 minute, say you're 1 minute. Over here, it can sustain 7 minutes. So you can see that this person will have a high engine because you have a high your Vo2 Max is the size of your engine. You have that type of size of engine. And then because you be able to sustain this long, meaning that your anaerobic threshold is also in a decent level, okay? But you don't want to do this. I do this because I need to do experiment, but this is damaging stuff, okay? Young people can do that, older people, you don't want to do this. Now, so I have explained to you, this ancient writing is now become like that. Disregard of who, which grandmaster, how many years they practice their Wing Chun. It doesn't matter. Look at their jump test. Look at this aerobic base test, the HRV test, core stability test, Vo2 Max test, anaerobic threshold test, like over here. Okay, your aerobic base test, your heart rate variability test, your core stability test, your Vo2 Max test, your advanced high intensity Vo2 Max test, and your anaerobic threshold test. If you want to join a competitions, well, you better have a high score there, high level of development, or else what can you do? You will not have anything to fight that competitions. You need the body, you need the engine. That's what we say. So your Xiu Lim Tao has to develop that. And so now it's mapped into the scientific. So here on, whoever really serious of their Xiu Lim Tao training need to fulfill all this training. Meaning if you teach a Xiu Lim Tao, it better be able to do all this thing. As for how much it can do, it doesn't matter because it's person by person. When I'm 18, I can do this. When I'm 60, I cannot do that anymore. But do I know how to do it? Sure. It's only my level is no longer high up there, like when I was young. But if you miss all this in your Xiu Lim Tao training, just talk about hand techniques, standing there and all this kind of thing, you're missing the entire point. Why? Those kind of things, it can, as soon as you cannot fulfill this, you know that scientifically, sport medicine or in sport science, what does it do? Can it help for health? Even exercise can help you to improve your Vo2 Max, your aerobic base, your heart rate variability, core stability. Even exercise, if you do it properly, or walking, you'll be able to help you that. But if you couldn't even do that, that means I better off go walking. Why do I have to practice the Xiu Lim Tao sets? If I walking, I can do all those tests. And if you do Xiu Lim Tao, you cannot do have a development of all those things, all these items, all this content. What is your Xiu Lim Tao is good for? So that's the bottom line. So as what I said before, it doesn't matter it's Qi Ji Guang or whoever designed the 1850s Xiu Lim Tao or Wing Chun, or the founder of Xiu Lim Tao, Wing Chun. It doesn't matter. You need to pass that. Or else, what are you selling? Are you going to tell me that your Xiu Lim Tao practice is not as good as people just walk every day for 15 minutes? In terms of their aerobic base, heart rate variability, core stability, Vo2 Max, aerobic threshold, and vertical jump? If so, what is it? What are you doing? Okay. So this is put it flat in front of everybody. Okay. The standard is scientific. The standard is not Hendrik Santo. The standard is not which lineage. The standard is scientific. If you don't have this, no way you can face Xi Xiaotong. No way. If you have this, then you have a chance. If you can get to high level, because they train that way. Okay? So this is how you link the so-called internal, external into a really clear standard. If you practice Xiu Lim Tao, you pay the money, you need to be able to do this. Or at least be able to do the aerobic, HRV, stable core stability, and basic, the mild Vo2 Max Test, which is you because your body have preconditions, and we don't want to push that. And for the vertical jump, if somebody have an injury or surgery before, you don't even want to jump. You just have to lifting your body up and then slowly putting down and see whether your body stay one piece or it broke apart. If it broke apart, something either one is weak or do it properly, improper. Okay, now, so this is for you. Now, if you are a Sifu, you really care for Wing Chun, you really care for your school, you really care for your student, you really care for your lineage, you really care for the grandmaster of you, go this way. If you don't go this way, it's guaranteed to going down to the tube. If you are a student, ask your Sifu on this to teach you this. Okay? Why do we want to buy snake oil anyway? You cannot just having 130 years of Wing Chun is not Wing Chun. There is a story between Feng Xiuqing and Liang Zhan, all flowing around, and then after 130 years, this is what your competitors show in the list. If you cannot even do that, you couldn't even do what a person who walks fast every day for 30 minutes do. How are you going to improve your health? How are you going to go using it for fighting? It is this reality. Reality is cold. Don't you think that when Qi Ji Guang have to face the Japanese pirate, it is cold? Do you think that the Wing Chun ancestor, when they have to face the Qing army in the uprising of 1850s, it is cold? So life is like that. Only we strengthen ourselves, correct ourselves, that we be able to stand up on our own feet. No grandmaster can stand on their feet. No grandmaster can help you to stand on your own feet. Disregard of which grandmaster you mentioned. Okay. So it is us. And now this is the standard from the United States. The world better change into this standard, or else, sure, you can use it as a ritual. You are free to do that. Your practice of Wing Chun is a ritual, a mimic of posture to memorize some Chinese ritual, but don't call it a martial arts, because it is not. Now, I am sharing this is, as many of you know, I have involved in the artificial intelligence study and design. And now I already get into the phase of a product out there, which is using like the N1 process and can fine tune for individual. So meaning that you have an AI teaching Wing Chun, which is can fine tune for you, as what I said, that this is the parameter. All this is the parameter, okay? It is there. So all of this thing, as soon as I can measure, I can quantize it, I can put in the AI and I can check you, I can track you, okay? So as many know that since years ago, like in this one, in my book, Meditation Matrix, it's already there, okay? Based on your meditator's profile data, the machine know how to train you. And with the H model, like the heart rate variability, the heart and breathing synchronization, I share this with you. It's all modeled there. Okay, it's in my book, Wing Chun Inception. So you want to fighting, impulse, orders, Vo2 Max, and it is data all around there. And this is your mind, your brainwave stuff. So this is coming, okay? In fact, it is working, and certain part of this N1 process is already there out there in AI. If I don't tell you this, I don't want everybody to going down. I do not want any Wing Chun school to close because of AI coming up. That's why I share this preview for you guys all. So you guys can go develop your own thing, and then AI will not replace you. Otherwise, AI is going to replace you. Okay, because what I share with you today, it can be programmed to a certain level in training the Xiulim Tao sets. Okay, it is no longer just, you have the stick model. I'm Hendrik, I'm the grandmaster. I do Xiulim Tao this, and then you follow me doing Xiulim Tao. No, it is getting in there for real. Okay, so there's no point to screw everybody, but we need to put more care and loving kindness to everybody, being public-minded. This is Wing Chun. It's not anybody's property. So back to what I shared before, the students is like a plain paper. Help them. If they are older, help them so that their body, their physical body, their health is improved. If they are younger people, help them so that their body becomes strong and they have a positive attitude. And stop all this lineage politics or that politics 130 years, and then you don't even know what the heck is going on in this world today. Okay. So this is what I want to leave with you. And sure, this morning, this another friend see what I'm sharing and call me this. Well, so be it if I am this. But it is what cloning. Yes, that's the fastest thing to do. Even Jedi now need to clone. That's why there's a US3 standard here. I don't want to screw any one of you. I open all this information for you. So don't screw yourself. And based on this information, you can take off. That is the bottom line. You take off is the bottom line. It's like a marathon. I have to pass this stick to you, and you have to pass the stick to somebody else. That is how you make your lineage respected. And for me, I have no lineage. I have only science.